I thought, with Sue Bird coming in, at least this is someone that has been positive on Caitlyn at times. And I think the issue with Sue Bird, though, is she has her hand kind of in so many things. And between with her podcast, where she tries to advocate for the players, but she's also an owner in the league. And now she's got the Team USA thing, and she's got all these connections and relationships she has to maintain. But at the end of the day, if it comes down to someone that went to UConn and someone that did not go to UConn, the UConn Mafia is going to stick together until proven otherwise.
Team USA just orchestrated what might be the most baffling and completely avoidable disaster in the recent history of women's basketball, and the fallout is just getting started. Get this. Caitlin Clark, without a doubt the single biggest name and drawing power in the entire sport, has reportedly told officials that she would straight up walk away from the team if they force her to give up her iconic number 20. Now, Sue Bird, who is in charge of this whole operation, is said to be scrambling frantically behind the scenes to fix this absolute mess, but honestly, the damage might already be irreversible. This controversy is escalating with every passing hour, and the potential consequences could literally change the future of the program. So, I have to ask you, and I want you to drop a comment below with your honest take. Would you walk away from the incredible honor of representing your country over a jersey number, or do you think Caitlyn is overreacting here? I really want to hear both sides on this one, because it's a wild situation. It looks like Team USA is actually trying to force Caitlin Clark to change her now famous number 22 to a new one. And it's blowing up in their faces. Let's get straight to the point here. Team USA basketball just committed an act of the most spectacular self-sabotage I have seen in professional sports in a very long time. They took the one player who single-handedly brought millions of brand new fans into the world of women's basketball. The one person whose name recognition completely dwarfs that of most of the league combined. And they had the audacity to tell her she couldn't wear the number that has become completely synonymous with her entire record-breaking career. And then, unbelievably, they acted shocked when she essentially said, "All right, then I'm out." According to multiple credible reports that came out during the December training camp preparations, officials formally informed Caitlin Clark that she would not be permitted to wear just the number she's proudly worn since she was 5 years old. The number that fans all across the globe instantly recognize as hers. The number that has become as central and iconic to her personal brand as the number 20. And Caitlyn's response, from what we're hearing, was crystal clear and left no room for interpretation. If she can't wear her number, she isn't coming to camp. Period. End of. Sue Bird, who serves as Team USA's managing director, is reportedly losing her mind, trying to figure out how this situation spiraled so completely and catastrophically out of control. And frankly, she should be panicking. Because this isn't just some simple administrative mix-up or a minor scheduling conflict. No, this is a full-blown, 5-alarm crisis that makes the entire organization look either stunningly incompetent or, even worse, deliberately disrespectful. And let me tell you, neither of those is a good look when you are desperately trying to maintain your legitimacy as the premier women's basketball program on the entire planet.
We haven't even made it to training camp yet. We have not even made it to the December 12th Women's USA Basketball Training Camp yet, and they are already disrespecting.
Now, here's the part of the story that makes this whole thing so incredibly absurd and, frankly, insulting. The number 22 wasn't even taken. Let me repeat that, because it's the most critical detail. Nobody else at the training camp was wearing it. The number was just sitting there, completely available, totally unused and up for grabs. They didn't need to force Caitlyn to change her number to resolve some sort of conflict with another player or honor a veteran. They actively chose to do it anyway. And that's the decision that transforms this from a simple logistics issue into something that looks deliberately calculated, almost like a power play designed to put Caitlyn in her place. And as you can imagine, people are not here for it. The timing of this also could not possibly be worse. This controversy erupted just days before Team USA's absolutely crucial training camp in North Carolina, which was scheduled for December 12th through the 14th. This camp was supposed to be a major media event, featuring rising superstars like Paige Bickers and Juju Watkins. It was meant to be a grand celebration of the next generation of American talent, a showcase of basketball dominance for the world to see. Instead, it became the chaotic backdrop for one of the strangest and most profoundly unnecessary controversies in recent sports memory. All because someone, somewhere in the chain of command, decided that Caitlin Clark, the most recognizable and influential player in women's basketball, needed to be stripped of her identity. Let me be absolutely clear about something. Caitlin Clark's number 22 is the most recognizable number in women's sports right now. There is simply no debate. There is no coherent argument to be made otherwise. From the most casual fans to the die-hard basketball enthusiasts, everyone knows that number. It powerfully represents her ridiculous shooting range from way beyond the arc, her unbelievable court vision that makes defenders look completely silly, and her relentless competitive fire that simply refuses to quit. For millions of people, that number isn't just 2 digits on a jersey. It's a powerful symbol of excellence, a representation of every record she shattered, and an absolutely crucial part of her billion-dollar brand, and Team USA decided she should wear numbers, a number with zero meaning, zero history, and zero connection to anything Caitlin has painstakingly built. The only significance of the number 17 is that it is not 22. That's it. That's the entire point. This was never about logistics. This was about control. This was about reminding Caitlin that no matter how big her star gets, the organization still makes the rules. And Caitlin's response basically said, "Fine, then you can make those rules without me." What makes this situation even more insulting is the wider context. We all remember what happened earlier this year when Caitlin was shockingly, and many say foolishly, left off the Olympic roster despite being the biggest name in the sport and a proven ratings magnet. That decision alone raised some very serious questions about whether Team USA's leadership even understood the cultural moment they were living in. But now, when you combine that snub with this forced number change, it's starting to look less like a series of isolated incidents and more like a deliberate pattern of minimizing her influence and her power. Fans are connecting the dots, and they are not happy. First, she gets snubbed from the Olympics despite bringing unprecedented levels of attention to the sport. Now, she's being told to abandon the most recognizable part of her personal brand for literally no logical reason. It's not hard to see why so many people think Team USA might be deeply uncomfortable with just how powerful Caitlin Clark has become. She's bigger than the league, she's bigger than the program, and powerful organizations don't always handle it well when the power dynamic shifts so dramatically in favor of an individual athlete. Let's talk about Sue Bird's role in all of this. She handpicked this training camp roster. She is the one responsible for managing these crucial player relationships and for building the future of the national program. And instead of focusing on basketball strategy, player development, and ensuring international dominance, she's stuck trying to contain a public relations nightmare that her own organization created entirely on its own. Sources close to the team say Sue's reaction has swung wildly between sheer frustration and full-blown panic mode as she desperately searches for a way to fix this without making things even worse. But here's the brutal truth that Sue and Team USA are learning the hard way. Caitlin holds all the power here. She doesn't need Team USA to validate her career or to cement her legacy. She has already done that. She broke records at Iowa that will probably never be touched. She has single-handedly transformed the WNBA's visibility and television ratings. She's brought in sponsors, media coverage, and mainstream attention to women's basketball in ways that no player has ever achieved before. So what exactly does she gain by compromising her brand identity to participate in a program that so clearly doesn't value her appropriately? Team USA, on the other hand, loses everything if she walks away. They lose their biggest star. They lose the immense cultural relevance she brings with her. They lose the millions of new fans who showed up specifically because of her. They lose media coverage, sponsorship opportunities, and the entire narrative that American women's basketball is entering a new golden era. Caitlin leaving would be an unmitigated disaster for them, and Sue Bird knows it. That's precisely why she's scrambling. The official training camp roster that was released confirms everything. It shows Caitlin listed as number right there in black and white, confirming this was not a rumor or idle speculation. They actually went through with forcing the change, and when you look at the full roster, you can see for yourself that nobody is wearing two. It's completely available. They could have just let her wear it, but they chose not to. They chose this fight. they chose to create this controversy, and now they are dealing with the consequences. This situation also exposes a much deeper issue within women's sports that goes far beyond just one player and one number. WNBA athletes have been vocal for years about being systematically undervalued, underpaid, and underappreciated despite driving massive growth in their sport. When you treat the most iconic player of her generation like she's disposable or replaceable, you're reinforcing the exact systemic disrespect that female athletes have been fighting against for decades. This connects directly to the heated CBA negotiations happening right now and the very real possibility of a lockout, because players are sick and tired of being treated like they should just be grateful for scraps. That's why this number controversy resonates so strongly with so many people. It's not actually about the number itself. It's about what the number represents: respect, recognition, and the acknowledgement that Caitlin Clark has earned the right to make certain demands. When she draws a line in the sand and says this is non-negotiable, she's not being a diva. She's standing up for herself in a system that has historically tried to diminish female athletes at every single turn. And a lot of people respect that stance. Now, some folks have pointed out that other stars like A'ja Wilson and Cameron Brink also wear number 20. That's true. But historically, this has never been a major conflict. Players work it out respectfully among themselves. There have been all-star games where multiple players were eligible to wear the same number, and they handled it like adults without USA Basketball needing to intervene and make unilateral, top-down decisions. The mature, professional approach would have been to let Caitlin and A'ja have a conversation if both were actually going to be at the same event, wearing that number. Instead, USA Basketball preemptively created a problem that didn't need to exist, and then forced a solution that satisfied absolutely nobody. The way this was handled shows a fundamental misunderstanding of Caitlin's value and leverage. Organizations get comfortable operating with certain power dynamics, and they don't always recognize when those dynamics have irrevocably shifted. USA Basketball is still operating like they're doing Caitlin a favor by including her. They haven't fully grasped that the situation has completely reversed. She's doing them a favor by showing up. Her participation brings far more value to their program than the program brings to her at this point in her career. Sue Bird's panic is understandable because she's caught in the middle of this mess. She probably didn't make this decision unilaterally. There were likely other officials involved, maybe some dusty bureaucratic policy about number assignments, maybe some outdated thinking about hierarchy and seniority. But as the public face of Team USA's leadership, she's the one who has to answer for it. She's the one who has to somehow convince Caitlin that the organization respects her while also defending a decision that demonstrates the complete opposite. The reality is that Caitlin doesn't need to compromise. She's proven everything she needs to prove. She has nothing left to accomplish by participating in a program that treats her like an afterthought. If USA Basketball wants her back, they need to make it right. And making it right means letting her wear her number, publicly acknowledging that the forced change was a mistake, and demonstrating through their actions that they actually understand and value what she brings to the program. This controversy has also sparked broader conversations about athlete empowerment and the changing landscape of professional sports. Players today, especially stars with significant personal brands and massive social media followings, have more leverage than ever before. They don't have to accept treatment they consider disrespectful just because an organization has traditionally held all the power. Caitlin walking away from Team USA would send a powerful message to every single athlete watching: you don't have to tolerate being undervalued, even when it comes from institutions that think they're untouchable. What happens next is genuinely uncertain. Sue Bird could potentially convince Caitlin to return by reversing the number decision and offering some kind of assurance that this disrespect won't continue. Or Caitlin could stand firm and skip the training camp entirely, sending shockwaves through the basketball world and forcing USA Basketball to confront the reality that they need her far, far more than she needs them. Either way, the damage to USA Basketball's reputation has already been done. They've shown themselves to be either incompetent or deliberately disrespectful, and neither interpretation reflects well on their leadership. The comparison to other legendary athletes and their numbers is instructive here. Nobody would have asked Wayne Gretzky to change. Nobody would have forced Michael Jordan to give up 23. Those numbers became inseparable from those athletes because of what they represented and what they accomplished while wearing them. Caitlin Clark has achieved that same level of number recognition in women's basketball. The number 22 is her brand. Asking her to change it is like asking her to compromise her very identity, and she's making it abundantly clear that's not happening. So there you have it. Team USA created an entirely avoidable disaster, and now Sue Bird is desperately trying to clean up the mess. Caitlin has all the leverage, and she knows it. This situation is far from over. If you want more coverage on this story as it develops, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. What should Caitlin do next? Let me know your thoughts.